So today we're in Ocala, Florida. We're checking out a 3-bed, 2-bath new construction home, already completed with no HOA, no CDD. It's sitting on a 1/4 acre of a lot, and we're just over 1,300 square feet. And the price on this is incredible. Let's check it out. My name is Joe Denny Ogando. I'm a Central Florida licensed realtor and also a licensed mortgage account executive. So I can help you out with mortgages as well, refinances, construction loans, all different types of hometown heroes, first-time home buyers, down payment assistance, all these programs. This channel we go all over Florida looking at real estate, resales, new construction, investment properties, so that you, the viewer, can see all the different opportunities that are out there. And if you're looking to buy a home, my contact information is gonna be somewhere on the video or down in the description as well. We're in Ocala today. We're checking out a 1/4 acre lot property, 3.2, over 1,300 square feet. It's a pretty nice house. The builder has a few of these properties available. And these are move-in ready. So if you're watching this video right now and you're like, I need to buy a home right now in the next 2 weeks, 3-4 weeks, these are the properties you want to get into. And the prices on these homes are just under $250,000. So they're like 230s, 240s. I was even showing a 225 earlier today, $225,000 move-in ready home. So if any of that sounds beneficial to you, consider subscribing to the channel, drop a like on this video, and let's take a tour of this property here. So the front of this house faces west, and right across the street, you have some houses there, and some woods right behind you. So nothing there. And then you have some rear neighbors, some neighbors on the side right over here, which is the pretty similar floor plan to this one. I think it's actually a different, it might be the same model actually. Right now in Ocala, we're about an hour and a half away from Orlando. We're not too far from an Ocala airport actually, like probably like 15 minutes from here. And then not too far from here, there's shops, dining, Target, movie theater, everything you could possibly think of, just a stone throw away. I visit a lot of new construction all over Florida. I've been doing this for 5-6 years, and I just started doing mortgages since December. So it's about to be like 6-7 months. And you know, I'm always trying to figure out where the next best deal is coming from. And what happens is having all those connections over all those years with all those different builder reps allows me to have a massive database. So like if you were to look on your own for a new construction home and you just start Googling homes for sale in Ocala, you're gonna get all the sponsored ads from different builders with the biggest marketing dollars. Whereas if you were to tell me a quick synopsis of what you're looking for, I can get like 5 to 10 opportunities in like minutes, if not hours, from different builders with incentives and properties you probably never even seen before or heard of, because they may not be accessible to like the open market yet. Because sometimes these builders send them to realtors first. So if that sounds beneficial to you on your home search, reach out to me so I can help you with that as well. Something that's really cool about this property is that you have a side entrance as well that leads into the garage. So if you ever wanted to, let's say, convert the garage into some sort of investment opportunity, of course, check with the city planning, development, and everything for all the rules and regulations. But having this door already here is pretty awesome. And in the future, if you ever got, like, let's say, the concrete extended from here all the way over there, then they could just basically walk here, have their side entrance, and you're good to go. So with this property being a 1/4 of an acre lot, you have this massive backyard. And I wanted to give you guys a look at what it looks like. You know, you have the grass is growing, you just gotta get some water on it, maybe some weed and feed. You have the nice little concrete back there. You can just extend it and get a lanai eventually, upgrade to a lanai. Maybe get the yard fenced in with no HOA. Pretty much you don't have to worry about an HOA telling you what you can or can't do. You still have to follow county rules though, so make sure you always check with the county and pull permits before doing any like of the big work. But with no HOA, that makes, you know, you get a few less headaches. So right when you walk into your new home, you have the living room right over here. They already have some ceiling fans and light fixtures throughout the property. I kind of don't like how there's carpet walking right in, but just tell everybody to take their shoes off or whatever, or get this upgraded in the future and put some flooring. You have this very nice size wall right here where I'm trying to figure out where the TV would go. So if you had like a big TV, it would go here, or maybe the couch would go there and the TV would go on this wall. Or there's another wall right there as well. So right off of the living room, you're gonna be greeted with like the dining area right over here. You got a light fixture right here. For me, this is kind of like low. I bump into it a lot, but most likely you have the table right here. So you probably wouldn't bump into it if you have the table right there. And then you have the kitchen right over here, right next to where the door is at to go to your backyard. So usually with new construction, until the home is like completely sold, most of the times they don't really put all of the appliances in. So what's gonna happen is it'll look empty, but once you move in, you'll have some appliances. So this floor plan, what I like about it is that 2 of the bedrooms are on this side of the house, on the west side of the house. You have 2 small closets here, bathroom right behind me, 2 closets inside the rooms, and then the primary suite is on the other end of the house on the east wing. So that gives you maximum privacy. And the garage is also over there. So like you just get, you know, you park your car, you go right to your garage, right into your room, take a shower, get ready, then come out here and do whatever you gotta do. And this is the other side of the property. This is where the primary is at, and the 2-car garage as well. This is gonna be that side door that we saw at the beginning of the video, inside of the garage. And we have the laundry area right over here. So you're able to put like a washer and dryer. You have the water heater there and HVAC right over there. What do you think about the garage? So for all you first-time home buyers out there, I wanted to take this part of the video to talk a little bit about numbers and what that looks like. The property that we're in right now is listed at $234,900, so we're just under $235,000. When you're buying a home, you have to factor in your down payment and your closing costs. A good rule of thumb is, depending on whatever your down payment is, if you're going with like a 100% down program where there's nothing out of pocket for the down payment, to 3.5% or 5% or even 20%, your down payment is going to be separate from what's called closing costs, which is some of the costs associated with buying a house and closing on it. So if you're going with like a typical FHA loan, and let's just say you'd be at 3.5% down plus like a good 4% in closing costs, you'd be at like 7.5% of the purchase price. So at $235,000, 7.5% is around $17,600. What's awesome is, depending on when you're watching this video, because in July, Hometown Heroes is coming back. So if you're a first-time home buyer, and there's a few other criteria to meet, you can get up to $35,000 towards your down payment and closing costs. And the way that they do it on the mortgage side is they'll give you up to 5% of the purchase price. So like on $235,000, 5% is about $11,000, which means your out of pocket could be $5-6 grand maybe. And what happens is if we find a seller that's motivated enough to also help you out with some concessions, basically help you with your closing costs, could get you in for little to nothing. That doesn't mean that there's not going to be a deposit required. So what happens is when you're buying a house, there's a deposit required to get into contract, because if you don't perform, the seller can go after that deposit as damages. So there's times where the deal is so awesome that at closing we're like over, where we're getting a refund, the buyer's getting a refund, but you still have to put the deposit to get into contract. So I haven't really heard of a way to like buy a house with absolutely no money out of pocket, even if you're getting a refund at closing. But if you get like a program, let's say like Hometown Heroes, we did one recently where we basically got the Hometown Heroes and some concessions from the seller, and the client got a refund at closing. We found a way to work around, and it was a pretty good deal. They paid the deposit and they basically got their money back. They did have to come out of pocket probably just for the home inspection. Those can range anywhere from $400 to $600 depending on what inspections you need. But that's an example of what you need to buy a house. You're looking at around 7.5% when you're a first-time home buyer. I also wanted to give you an idea of some of the costs that are involved with buying a house. I have in front of me one of the settlement statements from one of the recent closings that we did. We've done hundreds of them, and something that confuses buyers, overwhelms buyers and sellers most of the time, is once they see those settlement statements, all those debits and credits going left and right, and it's so confusing. So I wanted to kind of like simplify things and tell you what goes into a settlement statement and what to look for when you're buying a property. And this is in Florida, by the way. We're in Florida. I'm not sure if in other states there might be different fees as well that are added to these settlement statements. So they break it down by a few categories. So you have the financial, the prorations, the loan charges, impounds, title charges, commissions, government recording, and miscellaneous. Some of the things that are going to show up on the settlement statement under financial is going to be the sales price of the property. So if you were buying this one, you'd be at $234,900, or if we negotiated a deal, maybe $229,900. Your deposit's going to show right after that, and then the balance should be the loan amount that the lender is going to be putting in towards the purchase, or if you're buying cash, then it's going to be cash. The next thing is prorations and adjustments. Some of the adjustments can be seller concessions. So in this one, we were able to get the seller $7,000 towards their closing costs. And what happens is the $7,000 is there, then they prorate the taxes. So depending on when in the year you're buying it, seller pays a little bit, buyer pays a little bit. They're gonna prorate those taxes. And they actually calculate it to the day. So the day that the closing happens makes a difference on how much is gonna be due at closing because of the prorated fees that are involved. Right under that are gonna be loan charges. This is where you're gonna see if there's any points that are due, any lender fees, origination fees, valuation fees, any prepaid interest, as well as any credit report fees or flood certifications. That's all gonna be in that category there. Impounds. Now, what the impounds are is the homeowner's insurance and the property taxes. So what happens is when you're buying a property, the homeowner's insurance and the property taxes for next year, they're gonna be basically collected up front for the year. And the confusing part is moments later, when you start seeing that mortgage statement, like a few days or a few weeks later, you're gonna see property taxes and insurance again coming out. And you're gonna wonder, why am I paying for it monthly again if I just paid it at closing? Well, what happened was at closing, they took the amount up front for the year, and now monthly, the mortgage servicer is collecting it monthly for your next payment. So in your mortgage payment, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, two of those things are being collected monthly to be paid later on in the year. Usually around, I think November is when they take the payment out. And if there's a shortage on your taxes or on your homeowner's insurance, then you gotta pay the difference. And that actually happens a lot when you construction as far as like taxes go. Depending on which lender you go with, sometimes these lenders don't properly educate the consumers and let them know that the taxes right now on the home are just on the assessed value of the land itself, because the structure hasn't been built yet, or it has been built and the taxes haven't been reassessed yet. So that's why you hear these horror stories about people's taxes going 4 times higher. It wasn't that it went 4 times higher. Now the correct amount is being charged, because what happens is the county has these sort of millage rates and estimates of what the taxes should be. So I've done this long enough to know that you want to call the county's tax collector when you're buying a house just to get an estimate to see what the taxes are going to be. And also, if it's a first-time home buyer type of property, also get the homestead exemption put on the property as soon as you can. That'll help lower the cost of your taxes a little bit by giving you a small break, as well as give you added protection to your property if you're getting sued or anything. But more information on that later on a different video. Now, under the impounds, you're gonna have title charges. So there's gonna be lien search fees, survey fees, and those are gonna be title fees there. Then you're gonna have commission. It's a very controversial subject right now in this time in 2024. For the most part, commissions were always paid from when the house is being listed. The seller would have a commission amount total that would go to the listing agent, and the listing agent would have a co-broke amount that would, part of it would go to the other agent. There's no perfect math. There's no standard commission. There was no set rate. The norm was 5 to 6%, but that doesn't mean it was like the set rate or anything. It was just a number somebody came up with. And out of that 6, 3 would go to the other party. Or this one would keep 3.5, that one would keep 2.5, or this one keeps 4, that one keeps 2. There's so many ways to structure commission. And what's changing is, and you have to do your own due diligence on, reading into the lawsuit and all that. I think on August 17th of 2024, what's changing is they're gonna remove all sort of commission that's going to like the buyer's agent. So depending on when you're watching this video, you might be having a conversation with an agent like me or any other buyer's agent that might sound a little different, where it's like, okay, you have to sign something up front for me to pretty much represent you. And my goal is to get the seller to pay me still, but if they can't pay me, what are you comfortable paying? And that's gonna be a very, very weird conversation, because in my 5 years of doing this, in almost every scenario, the commission has come, it was set up front and it was displayed, and we just did our job to the best of our ability and we got paid. Now we kind of got to pre-negotiate our compensation sometimes before we even meet, which is going to be tricky, but I'm sure we're going to get through it. But on the settlement statement, the commission is going to be listed there. And there should be no surprise, because normally everyone signs something up front as to what the commissions are going to be, and that's going to be the norm with the buyers as well. So there shouldn't be any surprise there as well. Government recording and transfer charges are next. Any mortgage payoff would be next for the seller, and then miscellaneous fees. So any transaction fees, any home warranty fees, or anything like that. Sorry that took so long, but that's pretty much a breakdown of what a final settlement statement looks like. I've been to a lot of closings where the buyers don't even read it and they're just like signing off, but I wanted to take this moment to kind of tell you like what goes into that, into closing on a property. So the best way to contact me is going on my website, www.joedenny.com, and on the bottom there's a calendar link where you can put yourself on my calendar, or just text me. My number is going to be somewhere on the screen as well as throughout the video as well. Also down in the description. But if I'm with another client, I might not be able to pick up, so text me and then I'll call you right back, or just call and leave a voicemail. I noticed that I get a lot of spam calls, so I try to answer every call, but sometimes if I miss one, leaving a voicemail would be helpful, or a text message, because I've had a few clients, like 13 different scenarios where they'll call, wouldn't leave a voicemail, and then when I call back, they don't pick up, so I never know like who it was or what it was for. And I feel like I lost the opportunity to help that person because of that one scenario where I was busy and they called. So please leave a voicemail or a text message, or even better, email, or just go on my calendar, and I'll be glad to help you. Thank you for staying to the end of this video. If you found any value in this at all, subscribe to this channel, drop a like on this video, drop a comment, let me know where you're watching from. I like seeing where all the different future clients might be watching from throughout the world, or throughout the country, or even throughout the state. And I will see you on the next video.